Hello, this is the last video in Module 5 about adopting, adapting, and developing language tests. First, the process of adapting a test to a specific situation. Second, what are stages and considerations in developing a test? A newly developed test may work very well in a program, but perhaps not as well as was originally hoped. Such a situation would call for further adapting of the test so that it benefits the needs and purposes of the particular language program. A number of strategies in the next module will help teachers to use qualitative and statistical analysis of test results to revise and improve tests. However, the process of adapting a test to a specific situation will involve some variant of the following steps. 1. Administer the test in the particular program, using the appropriate teachers and students. 2. Select those test questions that work well at spreading out the students for NRTs, or are efficient at measuring the learning of the objectives for CRTs in this particular program. 3. Develop a shorter, more efficient revision of the test, one that fits the program's purposes and works well with its students. Some new questions may be necessary, ones similar to those which worked well, in order to have a long enough test. And 4. Evaluate the quality of the newly revised test. Test development is hard work and can be time-consuming. Nevertheless, in the end, the hard work is worthwhile because of the useful information that is gained and the satisfaction that is derived from making responsible decisions about students' lives. The point is that, before teachers begin a test revision project, they should ensure that they will have enough time and help to do the job well. In an ideal situation, teachers will have enough resources and expertise available in their program so that proficiency, placement, achievement, and diagnostic tests can be developed and fitted to the goals of the program and to the ability levels and needs of the students enrolled there. If a group of teachers decides to develop their own test, they will need to begin by deciding which tests to develop first. Perhaps those tests which were identified as most program-specific should have priority. That would mean developing tests of achievement and diagnosis first, because they will tend to be based entirely and exclusively on the objectives of the particular program. While developing these achievement and diagnostic tests, previously published proficiency and placement tests could be adopted as needed. Later, these teachers may wish to develop their own placement tests so that the test questions being used to separate students into levels of study are related to the objectives of the courses and to what the students are learning in the program. However, because of their interprogrammatic nature, proficiency tests may necessarily always be adopted from outside sources so that comparisons between and among various institutions will make sense. Somewhere in the process of developing tests, teachers may want to stop and evaluate them on the basis of the checklist provided in the table for adopting a test. Test developing procedure can be divided into 3 stages: planning, design, tryout. The most important questions that the test developer needs to ask are: what are the characteristics of the test takers to be tested? What is the purpose of the test? How does the test relate to an educational context? What standard is needed for the proposed purpose? How will the test results be used? The answers to these questions will allow the developer to begin to define the language ability to be tested, to decide how to set cutoff points to make decisions about the test takers, and how to present and explain the results to the people using them. Information from planning provides the starting point for the designing phase. The first challenge in the design phase is to develop a clearer idea of test content and format. The focus of task, what is to be tested, test types used as input, test sources, topic areas, types of prompts used in tests of oral production, types of real-life situations relevant to the students, the level of performance necessary in those situations, criteria for assessing free writing tasks and tests for oral production. The test developer also needs to determine a number of technical features of the test, including the test duration, number of items in the test, the number of items per session, the item types, the total and individual length of test, the format of the test, the number of marks to give each item, and the total marks for each task or component. The characteristics of rating scales. Next, tryout. The aim of this phase is to road test the draft specifications and make improvements based on practical experience and suggestions from stakeholders. The steps are as follows: piloting or asking some test takers who are similar to the target test takers to sit the test, analyzing the responses, consulting colleagues. For a small group, face-to-face communication is possible. However, for larger projects, questionnaires or feedback reports may be needed. Finally, revising the sample test. Generally, teachers should always be willing to be just as critical of their own tests as they are of commercial tests. The fact that a test is developed by and for a specific program does not necessarily make it a good test. So, evaluation of test quality should be an integral part of the test development process.